What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy pal HeyArcher. Welcome back to my channel. Yeah, this video is out of nowhere. There was no scheduled live today. There was no nothing today. This is out of nowhere. This is Nerdy Coffee, Part Ducks, Part 2, Part 1. Essentially, some of you may have seen Nerdy Coffee on Friday morning, where I reviewed Wandavision with my cup of coffee. Clusterfuck, Charlie Foxtrot, as they call it. And I couldn't sit on that video anymore. I rushed it. It was not very well planned out. And I said, I have to delete that video and redo that video. So we're doing it live right now at 8:42 at night on a Sunday. So here's to you if you're here. There's actually nothing in the cup right now. But if you do want to drink some coffee tonight, Paximus is going live in about 18 minutes. Head over to his channel after this. This is going to be a quick video. This is going to be fast. Super fast. But I want to thank all of you for being here. As I mentioned, the first episode of Nerdy I keep wanting to say Nerdy Curfy for some odd reason. I don't know why. New camera angle, by the way. How do you like this camera angle? Is this good? Do you like that? Anyway, so Nerdy Coffee will be, for those of you who don't know, because again, I rushed it at the very end. Nerdy Coffee will be my I don't want to say weekly, because if there's nothing to review, it won't happen. But Nerdy Coffee will be my live 2-minute reviews of the shows that release on Fridays. Like usually you had The Mandalorian on Friday morning. We now have WandaVision on Friday morning. So Nerdy Coffee will be that live 2-minute review where if you're awake and you've seen the shows already, we watch it together or talk about it together in real time. Switch out my lights there. But if not, you can watch it later on, and that's fine. So, as I mentioned, I did Nerdy Coffee on Friday. As I was talking my way through it, like about 10 seconds in to reviewing WandaVision, I realized that YouTube did not put in like the titles or anything. So I kind of just I clicked go live. It didn't put in the title. So I didn't want a lot of you to jump into Nerdy Coffee on Friday, hear me talking spoilers of WandaVision, and then you're like, well, what the hell? You didn't tell me that that's what you were talking about, and I just heard a major plot point. So right now, you're warned. Nerdy Coffee, it's in the title, I'm pretty sure. Let me just check right now. Nerdy Coffee, this episode right now is going to be spoiler-filled about WandaVision. And going forward, Nerdy Coffee will be that. It will be spoiler talk the day after a review, or a day after a show comes out. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's showing it. Cool. So it will, as per usual, in 2-minute reviews, for those of you who are nerd affiliated, the first episode of a 2-minute review is always longer than 2 minutes, but after that, we try to stay on brand of 2 minutes or less. If you're new here, like, comment, and subscribe, of course, because my brain's wired to say that. But yeah, do comment right now. Like right now, Joel's in the chat. The live streaming is back. And he is, in fact, drinking coffee. So you are a brave soul to drink coffee this late. But again, if you want to continue the coffee drinking after this, you can head over to Paximus. So I did, as I mentioned, I wanted to talk about WandaVision. I wanted to talk spoilers. So now you know these will be planned out. Fridays when there's a show that comes out, the title will say spoilers. So to last Friday's point, I was talking, and like 10 seconds in, I was like, shoot, you may not know it. And I jacked up the entire review. That review is trash, and I will delete it. I will delete it tonight. So if you want to see that, you can go watch it now and then come back and watch this. I'm fine with that. That review is trash. This is a redux. It's a redo of episode 1 and 2 of WandaVision. So, Glitchy Vibes is in the house. Good to see you. And in the chat, if any of you want to talk about WandaVision, throw it in the chat. Again, this won't be too long of a video. I'm going to end before 9 o'clock Eastern, which is in 14 minutes. So I'll end it early, and then you guys can head over to PAX and study with him. But let me know what you thought of WandaVision. It's been a couple days. Hopefully you've seen it. Again, spoilers for WandaVision. Right out the gate, I liked the 2 episodes. I'm going to review them both kind of together. But I liked the 2 episodes. And to me, the one thing that got me right away out of the gate was I enjoyed their throwbacks to, the old sitcoms, the I Dream of Jeannie, the Bewitched, where the person who is not the witch, the husband, the spouse, knows about the powers and tries to work their way around the powers, right? Like they established that. I also like that they did a lot of humor to that day, like the humor of that they sleep in separate beds, the humor of, I would have come over sooner, but my mother-in-law was over, so I was not here. Things like that. Funny points that talk to the time of when those shows came out. So I think it hit those on the head. And Joel, I saw your comment there where you said the show didn't make a lot of sense. That's intentional. So that's going to be intentional. He says it was good, but I wasn't sure if it was a Truman Show setup. That's actually a very good point. Also, is one of them dead? Yeah. So if you get a chance, Aaron Waller has a video about like what to watch leading up to WandaVision. That's a good one to check out. Yes, Vision is dead. So to your point about that the show didn't make a lot of sense, nobody knows what's going on. That's the whole premise of the first 2 episodes. Nobody knows what's going on, and I feel like it really hit the nail on that. Because you're watching the show, and you know you're watching a show. It's filmed like a TV show, but even Wanda and Vision have no idea what's happening. So the part that really drove home to me, the fact that they don't know what's happening, but that I think everybody around them knows what's happening, is when Mr. and Mrs. Hart come over for dinner. And Mr. Hart starts choking on the food. And she looks over and she's like, stop it. Stop it. But then she starts looking at Wanda and the camera zooms in and she just keeps yelling, stop it. Stop it. And like smiling like she's forced. Like Truman Show. Like where in Truman Show, everybody's in on it. And there's these moments where the people are kind of like starting to crack. That's a really good, I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about Truman Show. But yeah, it had that vibe. And this was that first moment where I was like, okay, everybody's in on it. The scene where the guy in the hazmat suit comes out of the sewer. And it's like, just like the Truman Show. You're like, wow, somebody's coming from out of world into this world. However, the part that throws a lot of that concept off is that Wanda reverses time in that. She reverses what happens. So now I'm like, okay, she does know what's going on. Somewhere in there, she knows what's going on, and it's almost like a blissful ignorance. I feel like that's what's happening there, which does follow along with the House of M storyline, where she world changes and knows what's happening. But I think it's going to be similar in a sense to, I was just talking about that movie today. Let me look it up. Oh, Malcolm in the House. Good to see you. Let me hide this part. They did that well. It's harder than people think to write something in that style of a different period. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely made it seem, even the other little detail of the picture ratio where you have the black bars on the side of the screen. If you go right now onto like Netflix or Hulu or whatever and pull up an old show from like the 90s and forward, you'll see that it's like that because the aspect ratio of the TVs now don't match what was there before. What was the name of that movie? And I just thought of it. And then I lost it. Here we go. The one that has Natalie Portman in it, where she goes into that bubble to save her husband. Why am I not thinking of the name? Thor. Annihilation. It reminded me, I think what's going to happen is it's going to be like Annihilation, where, let me just put it on the screen so you guys can see it. It was this movie where she goes into like that bubble to save her husband. I think that's what they're going to go for. They're going to say that Wanda is trapped in this warped reality and people are stuck there with her. But I think the people that are in that bubble with her are going to be part of SWORD, part of Hydra, part of Stark Industries. Like everybody's in there. And I think they all know what's happening and they're going to try to make things go their way. Reason being is they do, you have the moment where you see the Stark toaster in the TV commercial, which I hope they do commercials in the show. Like, that'd be fun. Kind of like, I just thought of Donald Glover's show, Atlanta. In Atlanta, or the show Atlanta, they had some episodes where they had commercials, like scripted commercials in there that you thought were real commercials, but they were part of the show. Like, I think that'd be fun if in WandaVision they do that again, because I think that was pretty cool. Debbie, good to see you. Enjoyed it. I also feel like it'd be nice for people to watch Endgame before WandaVision. Yeah, you kind of have to. So you have the toaster, and then you have the other scene where she finds the helicopter, like in the Pleasantville style, where the helicopter's in color, but the helicopter had the sword symbol on it, which is this one. Let me move this out of the way since I reorganized where everything was. Some reason it won't move. Anyway, sword symbol. Oh, there it is. Nope. It won't move. Whatever. So sword is actually what Nick Fury is now running. So if you remember at the end of Endgame, I believe, is when it's Endgame, where he's on the ship in space with the scrolls. That's sword. So they're the new, Shield, but they're more as far as like extraterrestrials, out of other worlds, other dimensions, which in the movie franchise, in the cinematic universe, Shield start to do a lot of that stuff, but really that's more of a sword type of thing. So she finds a helicopter with the sword symbol on it, again, symbolizing that they're involved here. And then you had the Hydra symbol in there as well in the episode. So that's what sword is. I know Joel had that question in the last review. So what I'm convinced of is that all the husbands, when they were doing like their meeting and then Vision showed up and kind of like ruined it, I was convinced that they were members of Sword and they were having a meeting about what's happening, and then Vision kind of shows up. Going back here, Disney did drop the 6 to 10 minute recaps for the characters. It's called Legends. Oh, did it actually release? Okay. I know Aaron did a video too about that. I assume they're going to do this for all the characters that have D+ shows. Okay, cool. Sword is not new. So Sword is an existing thing in comics. The first time that Sword was in like the main like kind of TV type stuff was Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the Avengers cartoon. They mentioned Sword in that. And you also had them in the second show, I think. Because it was Mightiest Heroes. Mightiest Heroes was the one where they did have the Skrull invasion, which is pretty cool to see in cartoon form. On Disney Plus, if you guys get a chance, you're bored, The Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, really good show. Check that out. But the only complaint I had about the show, just to kind of wrap this episode up, and I realize there you go, not so blurry now. The only real complaint I had about the show was I felt like it didn't need to be 2 episodes. It gave me the vibe that the show was really one 45 to 50 minute episode, and that's how they filmed it. And then Disney's like, hey, by the way, you need to give us 10 episodes, right? Not 5. And they're like, damn, how do we get 10 out of 5? We can do filler. It's going to be expensive, or we chop the episodes up. And that's what it felt like as I was watching it. So let me know if you felt like that as you were watching it. Aside from that, I think they did a good job of, again, you're confused like they're confused. The end credits of the show, you hear kind of radios talking, people talking across communications, like trying to figure out what's going on. People trying to communicate with Wanda. They do a good job with that. So I am curious to see what is to come next. I am curious to see where they take the show. But the only concern I have is that they don't have enough material to have a single episode drop that you watch the single episode and you're good with it. I think they're going to have too much filler potentially, or they're going to have to keep doing these like back-to-back episode drops. My thought. But let me give one last check to the chat real quick. So Sword has not been in any other like mainline stories that you've seen on TV. I think Shield TV show will be canceled to start a new series called Sword. Will there be a Sword movie? I don't think they'd be a Sword movie. I think they would stay if they're going to continue that in the direction of Shield. But I think the problem you had with Shield is there's only so much you can do without the actual heroes in the shows. And they didn't want to make it at the time where you had to watch Agents of Shield to get the movies. However, now that Disney wants to keep everybody in there on Disney Plus, having a Sword TV show may be beneficial, but I don't think there's enough. I don't think you can do enough main story type stuff with Sword. Like before, you had them, Agents of Shield was running alongside the events of the movies. I don't think they can do that again and be successful. I think they'd have to have Sword like in between stuff. So maybe instead of a Captain Marvel movie to like explain what was happening in between stuff, or even like Spider-Man where it's like, yeah, some things happen in between movies. Maybe you do like mainline movie, Sword. Mainline movie, Sword. If I was running Disney, that's probably how I would take that. And I think you're spot on. The credits were 10 minutes long, clearly filler. Yeah, that was the other thing too. I was confused. I didn't know if I was watching end credits or if there was like, if the show was still going. But either way, I am excited for it. I hope there's a big payout here. And like most of us, we are hoping that this somehow is what brings the X-Men and mutants into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And that's the end of Nerdy Coffee. Thank you all for coming by for a late night stream, a last minute stream. Nerdy Coffee will be back on Friday when they drop the next episode. It's a lot of fun, I think, talking these out. But the challenge on Friday is going to be, I got to do it in 2 minutes or less, because this is all going to be part still of the 2-minute review series. One last thing here. Well, Kevin Feige is now in charge of movie and TV. See what he does with it. I'm not holding my breath on that, but in the time of S.H.I.E.L.D., there was another person in charge of TV. Okay, that's fair. We'll see. We'll see what they do. But so far, so good. I'm somehow now excited for Winter Soldier and Falcon, so we'll see how that goes. But more videos coming out this week. HeyArcher Live is on Thursday at 8 p.m. Nerdy Coffee's on Friday. Time to be determined. But most importantly, I'll talk to all you nerds in the next video. Peace. Oh, head over to Paximus Enterprises, going live in about 30 seconds. Enjoy your coffee.